partly cloudy. Sunday, 42 degrees, a little bit cooler, partly cloudy. Then we're going to see a rising trend as we get a little bit closer towards Christmas, with temperatures getting close to that 70-degree mark, near record highs. Going to be looking dry. In the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
Let's get moving, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
How about that news that happened just minutes after the show ended yesterday? Sam Page seeing the writing on the wall and not running for re-election. I got to tell you, this is a great turn of events for the people of St. Louis County and by extension for the entire St. Louis region. You know we are going to be digging into that here. Hey, good morning. Happy Friday to you. Mike Ferguson here. A little bit later on, probably around 6:35 or so. The young Republicans, man, they are growing and they are expanding in Jefferson County. So we're going to hear from the folks who are building up the youth side of the conservative movement right here in the metro area. Now, speaking of, fighting bad ideas and winning, we had a really good conversation yesterday with Mary Catherine Martin from the Thomas More Society. Listen, the Kirkwood School District, one of the more left-wingy ones out there, and they were caught in indoctrination again, pushing LGBT indoctrination. That's the only word I can use that really, really fits. And the Thomas More Society and some parents pushed back, and they won. And on Thursday's program, Mary Catherine Martin explained what that means and where we go from here. And here's what she had to say. And we've called them out, for a lot of their sort of indoctrination nonsense. But they were really going above and beyond when it comes to the LGBT, essentially curriculum almost that they were putting in. What is it that you pushed back on and they're backing off now? What does that mean?
Well, thanks for having me. And this was in late October. I wish this were actually exceptional, but I think it's pretty typical. Among school districts, from what I understand, they showed an announcement, quote unquote, video on October the 23rd to an entire middle school worth of students. And they first, stepping back even further, they first produced this video using a class full of students, a media class of some kind, presumably. And this video was a 3.5-minute propaganda piece about LGBTQ plus History Month, recounting the history of the Pride movement as if it were the civil rights movement, talking about how pride is about being proud of your identity. It's about being true to yourself. It's about equality and kindness and your right to be yourself. And the narrators were all students, and they did all of this, showed it to the entire middle school. These are 12-year-olds, and right after, right during the school announcements, right after a message from the principal about, Spirit Week, as if it were just information they needed. And they didn't tell any of the parents, including even the parents of the kids who were involved in making the video. They have a legal obligation to give parents a notice and an opportunity to opt out before they show this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So apparently we've got Selma and then we've got the Grove,
Yeah.
A lot of distance between there.
Right.
Yeah.
Mary Catherine.
Definitely. And, it was covered in just the pictures of all these people half naked and painted in rainbow flags. Anyway, you were going to ask?
Yeah, I was going to ask. So, obviously they should be alerting parents, but apparently that was not done here. What should parents be looking for? What questions should they be asking of their kids and of the schools?
And this is exactly why I was happy that you had me back on, because parents should know, as we informed Kirkwood School District, and they apparently did not know, that although we've always had free exercise rights, free exercise of our religion, the Supreme Court has recently clarified the strength of those rights and our ability to enforce them against school districts. So we are in a bit of a changed world here, where parents have more power than they realized. And so it's really important, we don't have rights unless we assert them. So the Thomas More Society wants to be very, very clear with parents that there are two things you have a right to here under this new Supreme Court decision. And this is specifically objections on the basis of religion, because it is a free exercise right. One, the school district cannot show material, any material, instruction or materials that promotes ideas that they should know will violate the religious freedom of parents. Okay, so when they know a topic is commonly something that religions object to, like LGBTQ+, which was what was specifically at issue in the case, they owe parents the right before, and this is whether they've submitted an opt-out, whatever they know about you, this is all parents, they owe you notice and an opportunity to opt out. So if your school district is showing material like this without telling you, then you should call us. Because we can assert your rights to that and force them to, like we did here, and inform your school district of the right, your right to opt out. And then secondly, you do have a right to opt out, and that's on the basis of anything that violates your religious beliefs. So whether or not the school district knows that in your particular religion or in your family you have a religious objection to something, if you make that clear to the school district, they have an obligation to follow that opt-out. They no longer can just say, I'm sorry, you can only opt out of sex ed and surveys, right? They now have to listen to what you say and develop alternative instruction. And this is the real power, because if parents, religious parents, were to do this across a broad scale, then it should make it extremely costly for school districts to engage in this kind of behavior, right? It should become too expensive for them to be, opting everybody out of it, all the different things. And hopefully they will start teaching things that nobody objects to, like math. Right. I mean, that's the power that parents have now.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the important distinction here, is the aspect of the values assertion. I mean, so we're not talking about, I don't want my kid to learn long division. I don't want my kid to learn semicolons. We're not talking about that. Right. We're talking about things that are values based. And there are certainly controversial topics in history without any sort of question about that. But, where is that line? Is this essentially, because to some degree you're talking about subjectivity, but I'm hearing you say that subjectivity is in the hands of the parents, and the schools work for the parents, and the schools have to deal with it. It's not on the burden of the parents to convince them.
Correct. The parents have to inform the school, but the school does not get to doubt the validity of your religious beliefs. Now, they are allowed to discuss controversial topics. This is not about telling Kirkwood School District they can't have this video. It's about telling Kirkwood School District they have to tell parents first, and parents have to decide whether their children are going to be involved here. And where they don't, they can be sued. And, unfortunately, our school districts, that seems to be the only language that they listen to. You're not going to get any relief from calling them and asking them for anything. You have to, unfortunately, have a right of action. And so it's good. It's sad, but it's good that parents have this that they can assert. If they call us, we can help them assert their rights against the school district. And yes, the material has to be delivered in a way that is, the Supreme Court called it unmistakably normative. So in this case, it was clearly a celebration of these ideas. So, you are not free from any presentation of any idea that anyone ever disagrees with, but these things have to be presented by the school district as one of many, as part of a controversy, et cetera. It can't be presented as with pressure to conform. That's the words that the school district, or that the Supreme Court used.
Mary Catherine, this I'm not sure how to ask this question. You said the language that they're speaking, what they're hearing, is the language of litigation. And as a recovering lawyer myself, I speak that language. I appreciate that language. But obviously, we don't want to be in a spot where that is the go-to. I mean, that should be the last resort. There should be other mechanisms by which parents and the community can, in a positive way, encourage school districts and school boards to refocus on what the basics and what they should be teaching. I mean, do you have any suggestions or ideas about how we can go about that, so that, not to knock Thomas More Society or lawyers at all, but just so that we're the last resort as opposed to the first line of defense?
Oh, I 100% agree. We can't sue for every parent in the country. Like, unfortunately, one or two lawsuits are often necessary to get people to do what they should do. But here's what they should do. If in light of this particular decision, for these rights, school districts should adopt a policy that processes opt-outs efficiently, and then they should acknowledge the cost of using this kind of propaganda in schools, and they should just drop it. Right? Because if they have large numbers of people objecting, that is a sign that this is not an appropriate use of school resources. So that's one thing. Is the opt-out policy, the opt-out process here is designed to take care of these things without litigation. Okay, a school district should just follow this. But in general, unfortunately, parents, the electoral process of school board members is unfortunately one of the only things that's available to parents short of litigation. And even litigation is only available in very, very narrow areas, because so many of the laws that apply to school districts have to be enforced by public authorities, and there's no will to prosecute a school, or teachers. And look, I have no will personally to litigate against teachers. But parents need to have their voices heard, or they cannot trust the school enough to send their kids there.
Mary Catherine, I've just got a minute or so left here. So let me ask you, the Kirkwood School District backing down off this, good thing. How are we enforcing that? How are we making sure that they're going to follow through with their word? Because I'm one of those who believes the K-12 public education system in this country has just been completely captured by the ideological left. How do we make sure they're going to follow through with what they're saying that they're going to do?
Well, and that's where you guys come in, is getting this out to parents so that parents know what to watch for, right? But, Thomas More Society can't be monitoring. But I'm 100% with you on being, I'll believe it when I see it in terms of their compliance going forward. We're engaged in another lawsuit about public records against Kirkwood School District, where they actively try to avoid being seen, even in what's in their curriculum. And even to parents, maybe especially to parents. So in Kirkwood, we're lucky. Thomas More Society is lucky to have, and Kirkwood parents are lucky to have an organization that we represent called Kirkwood for Educational Integrity, which is a parents' rights organization, not particularly religious rights, but those two. And they have a website, and it's a watchdog website, and it reports what people report to them, and they report out what's going on in Kirkwood schools. Parents do need to be, sometimes, unfortunately, they need to be organized in this way. They are the ones who can see what's happening with their kids. And so we do need to watch for these violations. And then, this was just a letter. We sent a letter and they responded. So the next time they do it, we will have to send another letter. And if it becomes a pattern, then that's when it turns into litigation. And so, unfortunately, we need to watch vigilantly. And we need to, but the thing is, we have more rights now. It's not just a matter of watching and complaining to the school board, right? We have more that we can do to assert those same rights.
All right. The number to be involved here, 314-912-1019. We still have a couple days left in the food drive, by the way. Just go to NewsTalkSTL.com. And if you want to, by the way, catch a really, really interesting conversation we had with Feed My People's CEO, we did that on Thursday's show. You may have already heard that, but it's really unique how they work with people holistically, and it's not just about handing out cans of soup. They're doing a lot of good, and that's why I'm so excited to be involved with this food drive. So drop-off locations are at NewsTalkSTL.com, including the radio station right here. So you still have a couple days to be involved in that.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. On behalf of Tim Jones and I just want to thank you for making Jeffco Patriot Radio the #1 listened to show on Sundays here on News Talk STL, where we dive into all the things happening in and around Jefferson County. Check Tim Jones and I out on Jeffco Patriot Radio this and every Sunday at high noon here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
It is an honor and a privilege to have U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt.
Hey, I have to tell you, I don't know if I've ever told you this. In the 90s, when would this have been? Mid-90s.
Yeah.
And I was I worked at Grant's Farm, and I had a couple other jobs. In the afternoon, I would often hear and listen to Porcelli's Deli on the radio.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making me feel older than I already feel. That's just great.
Vic Porcelli, live and local weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with this free call. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. These pills work for men and women to improve their sexual performance. And now for the price of 2 or 3 pills, you can get nearly 100. There's no need to pay expensive prices for Viagra or Cialis. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Change your life for the better and have fun. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. That's 800-631-2030.
Okay, so the big news happened just minutes, literally minutes after our show went off the air yesterday. Sam Page announcing he is not running for re-election. Thank God. So congratulations to the people of St. Louis County. So he is not going to run for a third term. And of course he does all of the things like, I want to spend more time with my family and don't let the negativity, listen, there's the door. I would say don't let it hit you on the way out, but let it hit you. I don't care. Just get out.
What did the door do to you, Mike?
Well, you know what? I say Sam Page can now spend more time focusing on more prominent things in his life than ruining St. Louis County. Like, for instance, the criminal prosecutions that he's facing, because that's probably not going to go away, unless somebody decides that it's a moot point with him not running for office. So now the question is going to be, with Sam Page getting out of this race for 2026, does that mean that there may be other Democrats interested in jumping in? We could have a very interesting primary here.
It feels like we've been saying this a lot lately, but this was definitely not on my 2025 bingo card. I would have thought he was going to have to be pulled out, kicking and screaming, but maybe this is the right move.
Well, it's the right move. I mean, in all seriousness, it's the right move for him. His fundraising was abysmal. Now I will tell you what the grapevine is saying, the behind the scenes stuff that we're being told is that his donors, the people you go back to, say, all right, I'm running, let's do this. And they're saying, we're not with you this time.
Oh,
and that was happening over and over and over again. And if you aren't raising money less than a year from the primary, that is a message that even people with the thickest skulls like Sam Page can get through their head.
So this is a matter of the people that have a vested interest in somebody like Sam Page remaining in office are even pulling back and saying, no, not you.
Right. And honestly, I suspect, and this is just me kind of looking through the tea leaves, that I suspect that there were probably some Democratic power brokers, and this is me just speculating. I think there were probably some Democratic power brokers looking down the road and saying, this is a Democratic county, but I don't know that Sam Page could win one more, especially after a bruising primary. And he very well could have won that primary. And if there were a chance for Republicans to sneak up and grab that seat, this might have been that. So now you say, okay, who else could be interested in jumping in there? I was just told a little bit ago that there could be some high profile Democrats get into that race. I'll leave it at that. including one that would shake up a congressional race here. I'll put it that way.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks on that.
Now, I mean, obviously, we would all love if this was the opportunity, the tipping point that finally St. Louis County is ready for a good red conservative. But at this point, I mean, looking at how Kara Spencer's been doing, she's been actually I think she's exceeding a lot of expectations that people had. And so this might at least be the right step in the right direction. Now, I don't think we're going to have a conservative county executive.
I mean, Dennis Hancock may run a great race and surprise everybody. So let's not discount it. Let's not assume it's over. But the reality is that St. Louis County is a blue county.
But how great would it be if him and Sheriff loaded dice
That's right.
ended up being cellmates? I mean,
oh my goodness.
Jeez.
Yeah. So the city, of course, the city's got its own issues there. But yeah, you're right. In the city, Kara Spencer is still pretty far left, but she's focusing on the things that need to get done. And Sam Page wouldn't have any issues if that's all that he did, instead of, going with all the nonsense and, I'll say it, corruption as well. So so we're going to do that. Young Republicans, man, they're growing by leaps and bounds. So there's the Republican Party, the YRs itself, which are very active throughout Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the more conservative youth. It's not necessarily Republican, but kind of cousins, like Turning Point USA, and both of them are growing a lot. 635, Turning Point, Young Republicans growing in Jefferson County. So we're going to get an update on that. St. Louis County Young Republicans have had a really robust YRs for years, and the leadership there, Mary Catherine and Frank and all of them, are doing a fantastic job, and they're kind of driving the Young Republicans in the state. So that's growing, and we're going to get an update from the YRs in Jefferson County here in just a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I saw right after the show ended yesterday that there is a report that came out of 1,000+ people surveyed.
Yeah,
the approval rating of the Democrat Party, 18%.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that is extremely lower than I thought it was going to be, considering all the madness and chaos that they've been trying to foster. So hopefully this is a great sign of what's to come, especially because I think the youth is finally getting more politically active, and it seems like they're becoming politically active in the correct direction.
Yep. So we'll have that update here in just are the cameras, you having issues with the cameras again? We're getting some people asking about the cameras here.
I forgot to lay out the gremlin traps.
All right. Yeah. So
that's my mistake.
Susie will be here in a couple minutes, and we'll do that. So, by the way, it's Friday.
Yes. I've just come to accept that when I'm going to be here, you're going to be here too. So
yeah, all right.
Shouldn't be, but you are.
I know it's my day off again. I just want to get things started. I want to get it off on the right foot here.
At least, okay. I appreciate you keeping me company, but I'm pretty sure you have other things you could be doing right now, especially given it's your day off.
I know. So Billy's going to be in. Billy Crow's going to be in. I guess you know what I should get. Gabe taught me this trick on heading out of here. So this is an homage to Gabe. Gabe, I'm doing it. Okay, Gabe, beam me up.
Anyways, we will be right back. You're listening to 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
When it comes to spending your tax dollars and teaching your kids, governments and school districts should be an open book. But in Missouri, that's not always the case. Recently, the Show Me Institute sent out a sunshine law request to school districts across the state, asking for information on whether certain topics are being taught. Specifically, a controversial one called critical race theory was included in the list. Many districts didn't respond. Some wanted to charge large fees to process the documents. Lee's Summit outside Kansas City wanted over $35,000. A rural district, Morgan County, wanted $15,000. The Sunshine Law does allow charging a reasonable fee for sending out information, but there's nothing reasonable about $35,000 or $15,000. These districts should want to be transparent about their curriculums. Taxpayers deserve to know what their kids are being taught. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Well, what is it?
Well, it's a radio. It was indeed a radio. The entire neighborhood was turned on. The news, analysis, and opinion poured over me like a warm glass of Ovaltine.
We triple dog dare you to have a Merry Christmas. From Ruthie's Family Restaurant, Williams Brothers Meats, Gulf Shores Restaurant, Food Truck and Catering, and News Talk STL.
What was that? My radio!
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019.
Washington, D.C.'s Performing Arts Center, an American cultural landmark, is getting a new name. A name that has some Democrats seeing red.
On several occasions this year, President Trump joked about adding his name to the Kennedy Center. But now the name change is happening. The president's hand-picked board has voted to rename it the Trump Kennedy Center. Democrats say only Congress has the power to change the name, and that the board, who is chaired by Donald Trump, had overstepped its legal authority. Some members of the Kennedy family call the move unacceptable. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The man wanted for the deadly Brown University mass shooting has been found dead. Former Brown student Claudio Neves Valente's body was found in a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire. Providence, Rhode Island Police Chief Oscar Perez.
Extremely proud of this department, actually the officers, the detectives, the real-time crime center, the community response team, the intelligence division, the narcotics division, the task force.
He says they all work together to solve the case. Still no word, though, on a motive. No more federal funding of transgender surgery for minors. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy says new regulations have been issued.
The first rule are hospitals that participate in Medicare and Medicaid, which is almost every hospital, from performing these dangerous and harmful procedures. The second rule prohibits the federal Medicaid dollars from funding the sex-rejecting procedures on minors.
Barring a successful appeal, Wisconsin Judge Hannah Dugan could be sentenced to up to 5 years in prison, convicted of felony obstruction for helping an illegal immigrant escape ICE agents. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 13 points, while the NASDAQ futures are 82 points higher. S&P futures better by 13 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Europe steps up to the plate for Ukraine.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center,
Meteorologist Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a cooler day throughout much of the region. Temperatures back towards the upper 30s with winds back out of the west-northwest. Mostly sunny. Then into Saturday, a slight warm-up into the mid-50s, partly cloudy. Sunday, 42 degrees, a little bit cooler, partly cloudy. Then we're going to see a rising trend as we get a little bit closer towards Christmas with temperatures getting close to that 70-degree mark near record highs. Going to be looking dry. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time. Make this free call now and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
Free speech is alive and well in America right here.
It's about time somebody stood up for true American values.
What this country needs is some backbone.
Finally, a president who wants to make real change.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
Susie Moore.
Do you think he's ready?
He's not ready.
Get up! Get up! In case you hear the alarm. Get up, St. Louis.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Get up, get up.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's Friday morning here on the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show, and Susie Moore once again filling in for Mike as he takes a well-deserved break. I've got Billy Crow here with me again. Welcome back to the show, Billy.
Oh, it's always fun to be back with you, Susie.
I'm so glad that you are here. We have got so much ground to cover today and only a little time to do it in, so we are going to be moving. But a couple of big stories. Obviously, one of the biggest ones locally is something we found out just after the end of the show yesterday, and that is that Sam Page, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page, is not going to seek re-election in 2026. Yes. Applause. I don't know. I'm sure there are Sam Page backers. I'm sure there are people who are disappointed about that. I don't know them.
Right.
Now, Billy, you're Jeffco centric.
Right.
So your insight's going to be from the southern perspective,
Yeah.
if you will. I grew up and lived much of my life in St. Louis County, but I'm a St. Charles County resident now, so it's not my vote either. But I'm not sad to see him go.
No, I'm not either. I mean, he it's been problem after problem, and Chris Howard, who's one of the candidates. He lives in Jefferson County, and he's running for county executive in Jefferson County. He's like the budget guy for St. Louis County, and him and the council have been battling Sam Page over this budget and over them trying to pillage the Ram settlement money for so long now. I think he's excited about this from just a professional standpoint. But one of the things is, Sam Page is just a cog in the machine of St. Louis County Democratic politics, right? And so, I mean, they'll just take that gear off and they'll put another one on. They got one ready, I'm sure. Right.
Well, that's true. We're going to explore that a little bit more coming up. And actually at 7:05, we're going to talk to Mike Archer, one of the St. Louis County Council members. He's going to have some insight for us as well. There's a lot of different facets of it, like who's going to run, what's the race going to look like now? Is there any chance that it's going to be better than him? I think there is a decent chance of that because I think he's been pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
And will that have any impact on the criminal case proceedings against him? It shouldn't. I think that's set to go to trial in like the spring in Greene County. So there's lots of different interesting facets to this, but I'm not sure anyone really saw that coming. But it is kind of welcome news. Early Merry Christmas, right?
Right. And you know what? Talking about the idea of maybe it's the same old versus something different. Kara Spencer, a lot of folks were nervous that it was going to be the same old when St. Louis City got her. But I've heard from a lot of folks that work around her and work with her, some of the firefighters, some folks from Jefferson County that work with her at the STL Gateway, like that it is something different, even though she still is very left and progressive.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerome.
Well, I was going to say even Mark Hilsinger, who's one of the headshots of the St. Louis Republicans, he was like, it pains me to say this, but she's doing a good job despite being a Democrat. So,
yeah, I think the issue with Kara Spencer is ideologically she's very far left.
Right.
But she doesn't really seem focused right now on implementing ideology. She seems focused on actually running the city and being competent at her job. And she, so far, seems to be doing a decent job of that.
now, and I'm sure we all would like a good, staunch, conservatarian to be in charge of St. Louis County, but is this maybe a sign, like, should we be too hopeful yet that maybe we could see a Kara Spencer-esque person replace Sam Page now? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's a possibility. I know the one person who for sure is running as for the Democrats is Brian Williams, who's I think a state senator. And from what I don't know very much about him, but from what little I know, I think that there's a substantial chance that he would be an improvement in that kind of vein. So yeah, I mean, it might be overly ambitious to think that they'll elect a Republican, although that would be great if they did. They've done it before, so who's to say it couldn't be Dennis Hancock? I mean, or somebody else. So we'll see. I mean, there's lots to talk about with that, but that was big news. A lot of big news yesterday on the national level came in like late at night. So one of the things, I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember the federal judge, or not the federal judge, the Wisconsin judge who got in trouble a couple months ago because she tried to help an illegal alien escape from her courtroom.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hannah Dugan.
Mhm.
Yeah. Her trial finished. It wrapped up yesterday, and the jury found her guilty.
Got it.
Yeah. Federal trial. They found her guilty. I think she was charged with 2 different things, and they found her guilty on one. But that's kind of refreshing. Like, I think some people thought that there wouldn't necessarily be accountability for her. It was such a strange situation. I mean, a lot of it was like kind of caught on camera, and there was a lot of witnesses to it. But here you have a judge who's supposed to be kind of representative of law and order, basically flouting it and trying to interfere with federal authorities' lawful execution of their authority.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, there's so many times when it comes to these judges and trials and things like that, where there's a lot of virtue signaling versus like applying the law.
Mhm.
Because again, you're a judge, you're not a legislator, so you apply the law,
Right.
and then if you want the law changed, you go run for Congress or your state legislature and change that law there.
Yeah, one of the things I think the Supreme Court is good at doing is when there's a law that they're interpreting and there's an issue with it that, really needs to be sorted out, they're not shy about putting in the opinion, hey, you know what? Congress probably should look at this again.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of places for that, right?
The beauty of having the ability to write, to issue written opinions like judges do is you can say what you think in that. I mean, you can have that be part of your decision, but the bottom line is your decision shouldn't be based on how you think things should be or what your personal preferences are. They should be on what the law is. And if you think there's a problem with it, how it's written, how it could be improved, it's fine to say, hey, maybe the legislature could take a look at this, but you don't get to do that yourself.
Right.
So this comes as a pleasant surprise to me. I didn't even know that had been going in down in the background. But Ellison wants to know: do we know if she's going to be facing any jail time over? Okay, so she is.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what the sentence will be, but she could be facing up to a maximum of 5 years. Given, yeah. In reality, when you kind of calculate in, all the factors, she's probably not going to get 5 years, but she could very well get jail time. She's going to lose her law license. She's not going to be a judge anymore. And all to save one illegal immigrant who was in her courtroom that day on a domestic assault charge. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about someone that was like doing, just going to work every day and she just knew them and said, hey, I want to help you out. This is someone that was being prosecuted for a crime.
Correct.
And that like, let's just take out the illegal alien aspect of it. Like, I don't know, like the idea of like trying to help a domestic abuser like get out of serving time, like that's disgusting.
The crazy thing about it is like the witnesses, the victims they're in the courtroom for the proceeding, and they were like, they're what's going on? Like they never could understand what was going on because all of a sudden he was there and then he was gone, and all of it was because she didn't feel like federal immigration enforcement authorities should be there, to pick him up.
So I don't want to say this might be a precedent, but this is clearly a sign at the least that these activist judges are going to be held accountable when they behave like this, at least as much as they can be?
Well, it's a couple of things. Number one, no one is above the law. Hey, where have we heard that before? They aren't, and that includes judges. And so if they do something illegal, not just make a bad decision, we're talking about here, she actually obstructed the process, and that's what she was found guilty of. She was charged also with concealment. I don't remember how it's actually termed, but it's like basically she was concealing a person, but she was not found guilty on that charge. But yes, there is accountability. There can be accountability. She's a state court judge. The case was brought in federal court because it obviously involved federal law enforcement. And obviously, that happened over the summer, so that they got it to trial pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean that's real quick.
Yeah. And the case started this week. The trial started this week. The prosecution put on evidence for like 2 or 3 days. Defense put their evidence on yesterday. They did their closing arguments, went to the jury, and the jury came back in like 6 hours. So it's also a good example for people who are not, don't necessarily feel terribly great about the judicial system.
Right.
That it does work. It doesn't always work, but it does and can work.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes back to, what Winston Churchill said about democracy. It's the best form of government, except all the others. Or it's the worst form, except all the others, right? Like,
exactly.
It
it's
works.
What we got.
It's still the best we got.
We're going to have to get to this later, but there's something that we definitely want to talk about today, and I have some strong opinions on, and that is the kind of outcome of the Brown University shooting and the identification of the suspect who is now no longer with us. We're definitely going to get into that. And coming up, we're going to be talking to our Joe Maddock from
the Jefferson County Republicans.
Jefferson County Republicans, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's going to be talking to us about young Republicans and what they're getting started there. We're going to be talking about that coming up. But also, before we go, I want to remind you guys, join us for our annual conservative Christmas stocking stuffer giveaway. From now through December 23rd, you can go to the NewsTalkSTL website, sign up, and you can be eligible for thousands of dollars of prizes. There's gift cards from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, Havana 1961 Restaurant, Charlie Stop Bakery, Whistle Pig Outdoors, Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill, Small Cakes Cupcakery, and the grand prize is a $500 gift certificate from Newstetter. So go to NewsTalkSTL.com, sign up, be part of our Christmas stocking stuffer giveaway.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Our country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by idiots.
On Newstalk STL. It's a brand new show on Newstalk STL. JC's Sunday Showgram.
This week we crack open more of our Christmas library.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what you remember about doing It's a Wonderful Life?
Well, it's my favorite, and it's Frank Capra's favorite.
If it's been said, sung, or joked about, we'll have it Sunday morning. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Thank you, JT. Thank you. Enjoy talking.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com.
Your business moves fast. PRI Global keeps it moving smarter for almost 30 years, delivering top tech talent to help companies grow stronger, custom applications, simplifying your operations, securing your data, modernizing your business from the cloud up. And with Prismatic, you're going to get real-time insights, automated workflows, people, process, platform. PRI Global delivers all three. PRIGlobal.com.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's Stifel.com. The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
You gotta know it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. That you can't hold it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. But you know it's there. Here, there, and everywhere. I've got to move. I'm going.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy, Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Boogie oogie oogie.
I mean, I every time I hear that, I feel a little bit better. So I had to throw this. This one's for me. I don't care. This one's for me. Okay.
Well, so to be fair, like that's one of those songs that reminds me of my mom because I remember her like jamming to it in the car, and this happens to be her birthday. So and her second birthday without her, and so I really appreciate that.
Aw, that's sweet. I was going to tell a not so sweet story about that.
Well, do tell.
Well, okay, I got married long ago. And one of the things I told the DJ before the wedding was, I'm like, there are 3 songs you are not allowed to play, or I will not pay you. The Electric Slide, the Macarena, and what was the third one? I think it was the Duck Dance.
Wow.
And
your party wasn't any fun, was it?
We had a lot of fun. It's just, and that was in that kind of era of my life. I was in my late 20s. So I was going to wedding after wedding after wedding after wedding. And so after you've been to several of them and that kind of that trio of sort of overdone music gets blasted at you over and over again, you kind of get a little tired of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just want to be just a little different. We had a lot of fun at our wedding. Marriage didn't last. That's okay. A lot of fun at the wedding. Did not play those songs.
This is supposed to be a feel-good holiday theme Flashback Friday. Now you're making me all depressed and making me really.
I told you it was a bad story.
But maybe the divorce was the feel-good moment.
Maybe
it's okay. We're friends.
Because I was a wedding videographer on like the side for a while.
So how many times did you hear those songs?
Those specific ones actually not very often. Maybe it's a generational thing. But Mr. Brightside by the Killers, I cannot hear that song anymore. It's just, and then Sweet Caroline as well. Every wedding has both of those. Mr. Brightside is not a wedding reception song.
It's not. No, and that is generational because this would have been the late 90s. And so that by the time you were doing that, I think you were probably just a twinkle in someone's eye at that point. By the time you were doing that, it would have moved to other maybe more up. I don't know. I guess Sweet Caroline isn't that modern, but it morphed
Sweet
over
Caroline
the years.
is a good drunk white people song, though. There is
It
no
totally
doubt about it.
It completely is. I don't know. I don't know. I just had a comment. I just had to share that. Sorry, I didn't mean to depress you.
Now back to the news, right?
I'm going to cheer you up. We're going to talk a little bit more about Dr. Sam Page.
Ooh.
Yeah. We talked about this last segment, and we're going to talk about it with Mike Archer coming up, too, at 7:05. But, Sam Page has been the county executive for St. Louis County. Oh, speaking of weddings, former St. Louis County executive Charlie Dooley was at my wedding, just so we know. Sorry, little detour. Anyway, he announced yesterday that he is not seeking re-election in 2026. This is after 2 terms in the office. It seems like it's been a lot longer than that. I wanted to share with you all part of his statement. He says he released a statement Thursday saying that too many leaders have forgotten that courage means standing up for what's right, not what brings them headlines or takes someone else down. Public service means solving real problems, not manufacturing fake ones for clicks and sound bites. Okay, Sam. I mean, does anyone buy that?
I mean, he's right, but it's like look in the mirror, homie.
Yeah, I mean, like, hello, pot. I mean, I guess, he is actually right. The purpose of being in public service is to serve and not to go viral.
Right.
And that is not, there is nobody who has a monopoly on that. That happens across the aisle, both sides, at all levels of government. I'm not, it is not just one particular party. However, as somebody, I don't know, I just feel like none of that rings true. It's not authentic. And I think that's been one of the problems with Sam as the county executive all along, is he's playing this role. He's acting the part, but he's not a very good actor. And he is not a very good actor either in terms of some of the things that he's tried to implement, some of the actions that he's taken. And so, you know what? I mean, there may be some big Sam Page fans in our audience. If you're out there, please, let us know. Speak up on the live stream. Call. Let us know.
Yeah, that would be fun to see if there's a real Sam Page. Defend some of these things, please.
I haven't taken any polls or anything. I just don't know anybody who thinks he's all that great.
No. And I think, talking about the courage to do the right thing, it's like the giant deficit, budget that you have, have the courage to do the right thing. Do some real cuts. It's going to be hard and you were given a mess, but don't get any deeper in. I mean, how many times we talk about that at the federal level? Like,
Absolutely.
And thank goodness for the council, the St. Louis City Council or County Council, that's actually going to. I mean, they didn't get rid of everything, but they lopped off a large sum. And again, if you're going to say it takes courage, then have the courage, do the hard thing, and make those cuts.
Preach, Billy Crow.
Well.
No, I think that's exactly right. That was a big issue just recently. You've got a massive deficit, and your solution to it is, well, we're just going to take this sort of free money that we got and plug the hole and not actually address the underlying issue.
Now, the last update that we really got into the same page fiasco, I'll call it, before the announcement was made, was one of the St. Louis County Council members was informing us that they were meeting to talk about the budget, and they actually found a way to compromise with him. And so it does sound like, on the one hand, behind the scenes, at least the council members, regardless of which party affiliation, they're at least starting to understand and have some common sense about this is Sam Page's policies are unsustainable. But like we saw with Nancy Pelosi at the federal level saying she's not going to run again. Well, now the fear is that somebody even more radical and maybe even further left is going to end up taking her place in the next election cycle. So is this maybe a case where we have a small victory, but what we may end up finding that it's a short-term victory, and that what happens with Sam's replacement long-term could be even worse?
Right. I mean, that is distinctly possible. I mean, there are a lot of folks out there that have big platforms that could make the run, and unfortunately, it is the thing that it's more than likely going to go Democrat, just because that's just how the demographics work out.
Yeah.
However, come on, St. Louis County Republicans, find a good, strong candidate. I don't know what your opinion is about Dennis Hancock. I think he's a great guy, but if you have a younger, energetic candidate on the Democrat side, I get a little nervous.
Well, there's no rule that says it has to be just him. I mean, obviously there's going to be a Republican primary too.
Right.
And so if there's others out there interested, then they should absolutely throw their hats in the race. It's absolutely possible that whoever replaces Sam Page will be worse. I mean, Sam Page replaced Steve Stenger. Steve Stenger was not great, and he went to jail. Sam Page may go to jail.
That's right.
I mean, we're kind of emulating Illinois governors at this point in the St. Louis County Executive.
Yeah, it feels very much Chicago-esque, right?
Or you could get somebody who's, very ideologically left, far left progressive. I will say that St. Louis County, while it votes Democrat, tends to vote Democrat for at least last, couple decades, is not a blue county.
Right.
It's more purple. There are plenty of pockets of St. Louis County that are Republican. So with that in mind, I would think that there are a lot of moderate Democrats in St. Louis County.
Yeah.
I happen to be related to a lot of them. So I think that there's definitely room for a more moderate kind of traditional Democrat to step up and actually pull the votes they need, so that even if it's not a Republican that wins in the general, it's someone who's, ideologically better.
Well, two things with that real quick. One is, while it does feel like since 2020, the mood in St. Louis County has become more conservative, especially because of just the very strict COVID rules that were placed in by the county, right? But because of that, a lot of conservatives moved down to my neck of the woods to just say, I think we talked about Chris Howard. Chris Howard's a perfect example of that. He said, pound sand, St. Louis County, I'm done with you. I want to go home to free Missouri in Jefferson County. But the other side of that is, especially since we've been, the state is trying to stop these outside influences for all these state petitions and ballot initiatives. The far-leaning outside influences are going to have money to put in somewhere, and so how much of that is going to come in trying to prop up a very left-leaning Democrat in the primary? That's going to be a big issue to have to watch out for.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely need to keep our eyes on that. There's no guarantees of any of it, but I do think this is a positive move. And speaking of public officials with criminal issues, we still don't know what's going to happen with Alfred Montgomery. Loaded dice is still waiting to hear what's going to happen with the Quo Warranto trial. We should be getting a decision from Judge Omer, maybe even today, about whether he keeps his job. So we're going to be keeping an eye out for that for sure.
Now, I'm assuming, though, if he ends up with either the state or the federal charges, any of them sticking to Sheriff Loaded Dice, that he's not going to be sheriff after that? Or can you still keep your position because you're an elected official and then still have criminal charges against you?
Well, so in reverse order. So right now, what we're waiting on is decision in the case to remove him from the job.
Okay.
That's okay. The criminal case against him is in federal court, but that isn't going to trial until sometime after the first of the year. So that's still, he hasn't been found guilty of anything legally. Maybe in the court of public opinion.
Bad taste, right?
Yeah, maybe in the court of public opinion. Maybe some people have opinions about it, but so that's still proceeding. In theory, they could have not brought this quo warranto action to remove him from office, and he could still be sitting in a jail cell. Technically, the sheriff, there's an interim sheriff that's fulfilling the role right now, and I'm getting really choked up about it, apparently. But if it had gone the other direction, if they'd gotten the criminal case to trial first, presumably if he were convicted, they would then be removing him if they weren't already trying to do that, if that makes sense.
All right. Now, I know it's a slim chance, but what are the odds potentially that Sam Page and Sheriff Montgomery loaded dice end up in the same cell together?
Those are going to be great games of craps.
Yeah.
For cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like, dang it, I lost again.
They're probably slim because Alfred's being prosecuted federally and Sam Page is being prosecuted by the state. It's just they moved his case to Greene County because he is the St. Louis County executive. So I'm 99% sure that's all state charges, not federal charges. Yeah. So probably not. And but it would be interesting that we could do like a reality show with that.
I think so. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what they would do, right?
Yeah. It would to be a fly on the wall there. Yeah, that would be interesting. The Blues only needed one goal to win Wednesday night.
They did. I was there for that one.
They needed more than that Thursday night.
It was tough.
Didn't work out so well last night. The Rangers beat them 2-1 in overtime, but at least they got one win this week, right?
Well, yeah, and I'm a season ticket holder, and I split with my buddy, and the Jets game was the first win all season I actually got to see in person.
Oh, nice!
So I was pretty excited about that.
I saw that you were there. I'm glad you were there for that one.
My daughter's a big Jets fan.
Oh, well,
but
sorry
it is
for
what
her,
it is, right?
A win's a win.
Right?
We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Well, like I said, coming up, we are going to talk with Joe Maddock of the Jefferson County Republican Club. He's going to let us know about the new YR chapter they're starting up there. Up next.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
We Democrats know so much. That is true. And we have to kind of tell everybody how smart we are.
On News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a cooler day throughout much of the region. Temperatures back towards the upper 30s with winds back out of the west-northwest. Mostly sunny. Then into Saturday, a slight warm-up into the mid-50s, partly cloudy. Sunday, 42 degrees, a little bit cooler, partly cloudy. Then we're going to see a rising trend as we get a little bit closer towards Christmas with temperatures getting close to that 70-degree mark, near record highs. Going to be looking dry. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michaels Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michaels has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michaels Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
With all of the celebrations, anniversaries, and holidays coming up over the next few months, where are you going to go to get that special something for the special people in your life? Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, of course. Newsteaders Fine Jewelers found 24/7 at wowdiamonds.com. Tim Jones here to tell you all about Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Richard Newsteader and his team serving our region since 1961 with awesome, honest jewelry solutions. They've got everything from diamonds to wedding engagement rings, hand-engraved items, pendants, earrings, and so much more. You can find them 24/7, wowdiamonds.com. That's Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Need promotional products or apparel for your business? Look no further than Blue Sky Promotions. This woman-owned, locally operated company in Bridgeton specializes in anything and everything promotional. From branded apparel and uniforms to custom giveaways and marketing materials, Blue Sky Promotions has you covered. Whether you're looking to stand out at a trade show, build brand awareness, or reward your employees, Blue Sky Promotions has the solutions you need. Visit blueskypromotions.com or call 314-739-3531.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
How did St. Louis County get so far into debt? There's only one man who can help us now. The Show Me Institute's heavyweight champion of municipal policy, David Stokes. Friday morning at 9:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller. The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
If you say hi, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms, tremble like a flower.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
And Billy Crow in the morning.
That's right.
Welcome back to Mike Ferguson in the morning. Susie Moore filling in for Mike as he takes a well-deserved Friday off here just before the Christmas holiday. Got Billy Crow here with me. Got Jerome keeping us upright. And we are joined now by Joe Maddock. He is the president of the Jeffco Republican Club. Joe, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good. Great to have you on. Billy suggested that we talk with you because you all have some exciting news. There's some big goings on in Jeffco. More Republicans are coming into the fight, right?
Yeah, we are definitely pushing for that. There's a huge effort to get our message out to the people. And, you know, it's been exciting because the more I get out in the community and people start understanding what it is that we do, the more questions we start getting about getting involved. And I think that's really what it's all about.
Now, Joe, when you and I first got involved, we kind of walked into a room, literally, I think the same first night together for the Republican Club. You know, describe the room. It was a little on the gray side, if you know what I mean, right? Compared to what we're looking at now, right?
Well, I mean, listen, you are kind of describing Jefferson County just demographically. We do have an aging population in Jefferson County, so I don't want to act like it's not out of the norm. But let's be real. Back whenever we started getting involved, you know, the youth wave had not quite hit the Republican Party the same way that it has over the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, there a lot of established, we'll call them experienced members of the community. You know,
seasoned. We like seasoned.
seasoned, wonderful. You know, people that have been around for a long time. You know, this is the thing is when Billy and I first came in, we were young, ambitious. I say young now that you know we're what in our mid 30s,
almost.
But you know, we didn't have the history and the understanding and you know the way I keep on looking at this is we're supposed to be working together, you know, and we're supposed to be educating the young people coming up now. I look at some of the movements like the Young Republicans, which I think we're going to get a chance to talk about a little bit, and I'm looking around the room and I'm going, oh no, I'm an elder statesman. And people comment on the graying hair that I have, and you know, I still look at myself as if I'm that young college kid, and I am so far from that at this point.
So tell us, Joe. It seems like you know, for us in Jefferson County, this has kind of been like happened really quick, kind of going from no youth to we're starting our own YR chapter, and I'm not even sure if St. Charles County even has a YR chapter. I was told this is the first YR chapter in 10 years that's been formed in the state. So tell us the impetus behind this, and kind of give us like what you've seen with that.
Absolutely. So this is something, you know, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Frank Cannizzaro over there.
Oh yes.
I know he's always been around. It seems since I've gotten around, gotten involved. Sorry, but you know he is the I think chair over there in St. Louis County, and he and I have been talking for a little bit about launching a Jefferson County chapter. You know, and when you start looking at the St. Louis County YR board, there's a lot of people from Jefferson County that are on that board. Mm-hmm. You know, I know Marcos is on there. Jordan Lamb is on there. I believe Savannah is on the board as well. If not, she is a contributing member. So, you know, you saw a lot of leadership from young people in Jefferson County. But we never quite had enough people that, to me, it justified, launching its own chapter, because so much of the leadership from the Jefferson County Republican Club were also members that would make up the leadership in the YRs. So it had to reach a certain point, and if I'm being completely honest, Marcos really grabbed the bull by the horns on this once, the unfortunate assassination of Charlie Kirk happened. And I think that lit a fire under a lot of people, especially the youth. And he just said, you know what, we need to do this. And he's one of the vice presidents of the Jefferson County Republican Club. And as I mentioned earlier, he's also on the board of the St. Louis County YRs. So he's already involved in a lot, but, he felt called. And so he gave me a call and he said, we have to do this. And I go, all right, well, let's figure out where the people are. Let's figure out where the interest level is. And I think we made an announcement at a Republican club meeting, and the response was just amazing. We had people coming up saying, my son, my daughter, my grandchild, my neighbor's kids, so many people, young Republicans, people, young people 18 to 40 in Jefferson County were begging for this. And we had no idea. We didn't know because, nobody knew there was an option for this until we got out and started sharing the message. And I think it took a matter of maybe a month and a half, and we already had 80 people after a month signed up that said they were interested in joining the chapter once it launched. And I think that number is well over 100 right now. And we haven't even gotten a chance to launch. So the interest is definitely there. And I think we're really excited to see what this can become, and hopefully, make Jefferson County one of the bastions for conservatism in the state of Missouri.
So you said there's about 100 people so far signed up. What does that compare to the St. Louis County YRs? Because I know this Monday, Susie and I were at the Young Republican Club Christmas party, Tim Jones's Christmas party, and there was probably 100 people in the whole room that were Republican or elder statesmen put together. So, and I know not everybody goes this, but what does that compare to St. Louis County's numbers?
I don't know that off the top of my head. That would probably be a better question for Frank or one of the board members. And I would hate to, either pump up their numbers too much or, insult them by giving them a low number. But I've got to imagine it's on par, because when we were talking about those numbers, reaching into the 100s, the comments started being made that would make us one of the largest chapters in the state.
That's
and yeah, if we could do that within a month of launch, again, that is telling the rest of the state Jefferson County is serious. We are serious about our conservative values. We are serious about getting involved. We want to see the right things happen, and we're willing to be a part of that. We're not just going to sit back and let whatever happen and let the Soros-funded liberals take over.
No, it's great. I mean, Joe, I want to get your thoughts on this, because the conventional wisdom is that, young people gravitate left. They vote Democrat. The majority of the younger generation is going to be in that left-leaning camp, if not the progressive camp. And yet we're seeing this kind of groundswell of support for Republicans, for Republicanism, on the right side of the aisle. And what do you think accounts for that? Obviously, Charlie Kirk's assassination had a huge impact on people. It really, I think woke a lot of people up. But what do you see as what's calling young people to the Republican approach to things?
I think obviously we see it bearing out in the statistics, but to go to, I think, the root of your question here, when I was a kid, when Billy was a kid, it was not cool as a young person to be a Republican, because the Republicans were viewed as the old money, the establishment, the people that were just worried about taxation. Those were the things that were kind of pumped into the mainstream media, and that's all we had. Well, nowadays we have the internet, And, these kids obviously are on platforms that, again, I'm the elder statesman. They're on platforms that I don't even understand at this point.
Welcome to the club.
Right. And, they're having conversation about this. And, we saw it when it came time to, when it came down to fundraising. Who is funding these Democrat organizations? It's all the establishment. It's all the big money. It's organizations from Silicon Valley, from New York, from California. And what we're starting to see is this groundswell of the grassroots, the working man. Those are the Republicans now. And so, you also look at your teachers, and unfortunately, so many teachers can, tend to end up being liberal, and so how do you rebel as a high schooler? Well, you go against whatever the mainstream is doing. You go against whatever your teachers and your parents are saying. And if all of them end up being, liberals or left leaning, or, you view them as being a certain way on an issue, well, what ends up happening is maybe you end up going opposite of them, and then all of a sudden you dip your toe into a Charlie Kirk video, and then you watch something by name your influencer, maybe you start off with Joe Rogan. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
You start
He's the gateway drug these days.
Yeah, then you slip into a Billy Crow podcast, and it's all over, right? But I think a little bit of it is this rebellious heart, because you look at what Trump has done. He's come out and been unapologetic, and love him or hate him for that, it connects with the youth. Where again, back in my day, there was this kind of it's a fight against the man, right? You've heard of Rage Against the Machine,
sure.
Which now we call them Rage on behalf of the machine, But there was all this counterculturism, and I think that's what we're seeing out of the youth right now. It's counterculture to be conservative. It's counterculture to imagine growing up having a spouse and a family and trying to buy a house, settle down, maybe start a small business. That's weird, and young people love to be weird.
So Joe, back to
driving it.
Joe, back to a point you made, like the Republican Party becoming the working man's party, particularly over the Democratic Party. I think that's another big factor of it too, as there's this big pushback against these big universities and going to college versus getting into the trades, getting into unions, right? I'm a big proponent of that, and saying, even though unions have typically been left leaning, there's a lot of us that are younger in these trades that are pushing back against the idea that we're conservative. We like to work with our hands, and we don't need these big left universities telling us how to live our lives. We can do it just fine. Real quick, before we go, I know you guys got an event coming up in January. Tell us all about it.
Yep, January 9th. That is going to be at Sugar Creek Golf Course. So it should be a great event. It is a free event. You can find information on that on Eventbrite. I know we have it on Facebook, but I don't believe the YR chapter is allowed to launch a Facebook group yet. We have to go through the whole clerical process of actually having the launch accepted. But you can find that information. Jefferson County Republican Club will be announcing it on our Facebook group, so you can find it there. I believe the St. Louis County YRs, they've been a huge supporter of this as well, so you can find the information on their Facebook group. But that's we're expecting a great showing. Obviously, this information is going to go out to everybody on our mailing list. You can also get on the mailing list by going to the Jefferson County Republican Club page, and there's a QR code on a post that I believe we have pinned to the top. So just get involved with us. You can reach out to us at the club until the YR chapter is launched, but we'd love to have you out. Again, that's January 9th. From 6 to 9 p.m. At the Sugar Creek Golf Club Banquet Center.
All right, Joe. Thanks for coming on today, bud.
Thanks, Joe.
I appreciate you guys. Keep on doing a great job.
You too.
Now, what else we've been doing a great job at, for those that have not been aware by now, shame on you, but we are feeding the people with Feed My People, and that's through our food drive we're participating in. You can get more information as we come to the last days of the food drive. Go to newstalkstl.com/food drive. You can find out which locations you can drop off your non-perishables and your toiletries, pretty much anything that you think would help somebody get through the holidays. And also, we have a bin outside of our very own studio. So if you're in the area, feel free to stop on by, drop some stuff off, and hey, knock on the door and say, hey, I'd like to come and meet some of the fantastic talent that we have in the station.
News, analysis, opinion.
It almost seems common sense, but, alas, common sense isn't so common these days.
News Talk STL.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mom's cooking chicken and collard greens, rice and stuffing, macaroni and cheese, and Santa put gifts under Christmas trees. Decorate the house with lights at night. Snow's on the ground, Snow White so bright. In the fireplace is the Yule.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Yeah, I'm loving that.
That's what I've been waiting for today, right there.
Oh, this is your jam, huh?
I love it. Yes.
Who is that?
Run DMC.
That is Run DMC?
Yeah. Yep, Christmas in Hollis.
Yeah. I should have recognized him.
This is from our semi-famous friend Jay Monty, who appeared in a music video back. I think it was one of the Motley Crue videos. Or either Motley Crue or Def Leppard. I don't know. We did this whole deep dive, and we found him, this young self. And of all the people, all the hard rockers out there, he's the one that requested Run DMC.
Love it. Good choice. Good choice. All right. Welcome back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. I want to talk to you guys about something pretty serious here. Target Karen. You may have encountered a Target Karen in your life. I have, but I don't think I've ever encountered one quite like the one who went viral this week. I don't know if you guys saw this story. So it was in California. There's an elderly Target employee named Jeannie Beeman who was doing her job. She had her red shirt on, and her red shirt happened to be one that said Freedom on it and said Charlie Kirk on it. And there was a customer shopping in the store who was so undone by this that she felt the need to approach the woman and accost her verbally while filming it. And then she thought she was the good guy, so she put it on TikTok and it went viral. I'm not going to quote exactly what she said because it's not appropriate for FCC licensed stations. She called her bleeping stupid, accused her of supporting a racist, said they let you wear that shirt here. Why the bleep would you wear that? you're at work, and it goes on for several, maybe a minute or so, where she's just kind of berating this woman. The woman is very calmly saying, well, yeah, we're allowed to. It's, we're allowed to wear shirts, and she just keeps going at it. And then she, again, apparently thought that she was the good guy, so she posted her own video to TikTok. And now people found out who she was, obviously, because it was under her account at TikTok. So they have been bombarding her employer, California-based Enlo Health, to the point where they've said, look, they're asking the public, please stop contacting us. We're not happy about what happened here, but they're overwhelming the health system because people are so angry about this.
So there's a lot of facets to this, right? Like, first off, like, what the premeditation to go, like, hold on. I mean, okay, I am really terrible at technology because I'm getting up there in age, but like, it would take me a good 5 minutes to figure out, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to record this. Let me flip this up on TikTok. There's some premeditation there. And the other piece is, I love the fact that people are finally getting fed up with this kind of behavior on social media. I mean, hey, free country, you're allowed to say what you want on social media, but like, to see you going like ballistic on someone who's just peacefully going about their day, right? And I understand, like, if someone was wearing Nazi paraphernalia, right? I'm not associating Charlie Kirk with Nazism, but if someone was wearing Nazi paraphernalia, maybe take a picture of that, censor out their face, and make a post about how abhorrent this is that someone would promote these ideas in public, right? But to like verbally accost them in the store, creating a scene, that's pretty wild. And the other thing is, okay, so we see these folks that when they post these videos, a social media post or anything, particularly after like the Charlie Kirk shooting, there was a lot of people that, were like after folks' jobs, right? Well, I think there's a difference between acting as if you're saying like, I'm acting as someone from my company. So if I was, out communicating something with my employer's shirt on, that's different than what I'm doing as a person on the street. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot of different components to it. The woman, she did work at Target, but they're allowed to wear red shirts, and there was nothing. Her shirt said freedom on it, and it said Charlie Kirk on it. That's what it said. That's all it said. And to her credit, even though she was being, filmed and berated, she was like, have a nice day, ma'am. And okay, if you really have an issue, okay, Karen, go ask to see the manager.
That's right. Yeah.
And I am calling her Karen. I don't know what her real name is. I'm not going to say it, even if it's out there, because my sister's name is Karen. No, this woman, the woman that she accosted, was asked about, everybody's up in arms about this. They're asking for her to lose her job. Do you want her to lose her job? And she said, no, I don't want her to lose her job. She said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I don't like what she did, but that's, I don't think she should lose her job over it, which, okay, that's pretty gracious, I would say.
That comes off a lot of ways as, I don't want you to be sorry, I want you to be better. And the thing about TikTok specifically is it's like the lowest IQ individuals that are all gathered in one space, which is why I like it, because it usually keeps them segregated to that part of the internet. So the rest of us can interact and have more civil conversations. But narcissistic personality disorder is usually tied to very low IQ people. And, when my stomach rumbles and it hurts, I know I'm hungry, and I wish stupid people's heads would do that so they would know they're being stupid and stop doing it.
Oh, maybe we could use Neuralink to like set off a stupid alarm.
Yeah, you're in the wrong, you're stupid, and you're being just belligerent right now. Knock it off, and then your head vibrates for a bit, and you're like, okay, I will stop that now. But
not a shock collar or anything like that. But
so to be fair, TikTok does not have a lock on the stupid market. Okay, no. My world is all Facebook, right? And like, if you're over 50 and like have the low IQ, Facebook is your platform of choice.
It's true.
I would definitely say Facebook is probably second to TikTok at this point. I can't even use it because of all the AI nonsense. But yeah, the fact that somebody is so full of themselves that they went out and they say, I'm going to accost somebody that did nothing wrong to me, and then I'm going to post it online so I can get all these brownie points. It's just absolutely ridiculous. That's the argument for tarring and feathering.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure she's hearing about it at work. I don't think she's going to necessarily lose her job, but I'm sure she's hearing about it because her employer is definitely hearing about it.
Definitely on the naughty list.
Definitely.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head, Vic head. Here.
And you can win some great prizes with NewsTalk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho. You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh!
No, ho.
Oh!
Log on to NewsTalkSTL.com for your chance to win great prizes from Ami's Pizzeria and Restaurant, Small Cakes Cupcakery and Creamery, and Gulf Shores Restaurant, Food Truck and Catering. NewsTalkSTL.com.
Oh!
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
The left, for months now,
one by one,
have been begging for a civil war.
every caller gets their say.
We got to stop and not put these officers in situations where they feel like they have to overreact.
And whether you agree
We have to assume some responsibility because I'm a black man.
or disagree,
I think you're politically wrong.
I do not need athletes to tell me.
you're invited to join the conversation.
Thank you for canceling all your games. Now I get it.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019 94.1.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Washington, D.C.'s Performing Arts Center, an American cultural landmark, is getting a new name. A name that has some Democrats seeing red.
On several occasions this year, President Trump joked about adding his name to the Kennedy Center. But now the name change is happening. The president's hand-picked board has voted to rename it the Trump Kennedy Center. Democrats say only Congress has the power to change the name, and that the board, who is chaired by Donald Trump, had overstepped its legal authority. Some members of the Kennedy family call the move unacceptable. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The man wanted for the deadly Brown University mass shooting has been found dead. Former Brown student Claudio Neves Valente's body was found in a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire. Providence, Rhode Island Police Chief Oscar Perez.
Extremely proud of this department. Actually, the officers, the detectives, the real-time crime center, the community response team, the intelligence division, the narcotics division, the task force.
He says they all work together to solve the case. Still no word, though, on a motive. No more federal funding of transgender surgery for minors. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy says new regulations have been issued.
The first rule are hospitals that participate in Medicare and Medicaid, which is almost every hospital, from performing these dangerous and harmful procedures. The second rule prohibits the federal Medicaid dollars from funding the sex-rejecting procedures on minors.
Barring a successful appeal, Wisconsin Judge Hannah Dugan could be sentenced to up to 5 years in prison, convicted of felony obstruction for helping an illegal immigrant escape ICE agents. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 13 points, while the NASDAQ futures are 82 points higher. S&P futures better by 13 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free.
Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a cooler day throughout much of the region. Temperatures back towards the upper 30s with winds back out of the west-northwest. Mostly sunny. Then into Saturday, a slight warm up into the mid-50s, partly cloudy. Sunday, 42 degrees, a little bit cooler, partly cloudy. Then we're going to see a rising trend as we get a little bit closer towards Christmas with temperatures getting close to that 70-degree mark near record highs. Going to be looking dry. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
When water troubles strike, call the family you can trust. Tim Jones here for Ambassador Plumbing, serving our community since 2018 with 25 years of master plumbing expertise from Tim Morris and his hand-picked team. Whether it's a simple faucet repair or a complete bathroom remodel, if water runs to it or through it, they do it. From residential service calls to commercial to new construction, the folks at Ambassador are your neighbors treating you like family. Ambassador Plumbing, where faith meets craftsmanship. 636-383-6932 or ambassadorplumbing.com. That's ambassadorplumbing.com.
Well, what is it?
Well, it's a radio. It was indeed a radio. The entire neighborhood was turned on. The news, analysis, and opinion poured over me like a warm glass of Ovaltine.
We triple dog dare you to have a Merry Christmas. From Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant, DiGrigorio's Food Products, RealtyNet Service Realtors, and News Talk STL.
What was that? My radio!
Mike Ferguson.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Susie Moore.
They look very aggressive. I think they want to beat me up.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Props to Billy.
I nailed it this time.
Billy remembered to do the Kofifi dance today. We appreciate that. Thank you for participating in our fun. Hope you all were watching on the live stream. Welcome back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. Susie Moore here. Got Billy Crow with me. Got Jerome with me. And we are joined now by St. Louis County Councilman Mike Archer. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me again. Thank you.
Well, it seemed perfect to have you on because we got some rather surprising big news yesterday, just as our show was going off the air. And that is that St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has decided he will no longer be seeking re-election in 2026. Let's start out with what your reaction was when you heard that news.
Well, the first thing was that I got a text from Mark Harder at about 7:30 saying that he had heard it on Twitter or X or whatever, and I'm right there with Billy, not technologically savvy, so I was like, yeah, right, Mark. And then it popped up on the internet. I'm like, oh my God, it did happen. And it was like a political earthquake because it completely opens up that Democratic primary. And I can think of 4 people right now that have already expressed a desire to go for that. Boy, I'm going to sit back and watch the popcorn and watch the Democrats, implode here in terms of, fighting for that job. So next August is going to be really interesting in terms of what's going to happen. Obviously we have Dennis Hancock on our side, and he's always been, a solid, advocate for, municipal government and also on the St. Louis County Council, and it's just very conservative. But, think of 4 people right now, Susie, that are going to be vying for that position.
Yeah. So, Mike, we talk about Dennis Hancock, but with this becoming an open seat and not necessarily a contested seat, do you see any other on the Republican sides coming out now and saying, hey, maybe I'll take a stab at this? Or is Mr. Hancock the only one that has the guts to stand up to the Democrats?
Oh, I think the latter, Billy. And it's Dennis has got a real good organization already formed. I think any other Republican would be a fool's mission at this point, because Dennis has got a really good ground game going, and he's already established and already getting money. Unfortunately, as you well know, money's going to be the name of the game here, and we need to get a lot of money for Dennis to get his message out. So I have not heard of any other Republicans wanting to file, Billy, but and I'm pretty active with the Central Republican Committee, and I would have heard that, but I have not heard any rumblings to that effect. All I've heard is everybody getting behind Dennis.
So on the Democrat side, you said, there's about 4 names out there. Like, what's the spread on, like, left to center left that we see with these 4 candidates that are probably going to put their name in the hat?
Well, we've got Senator Brian Williams, and I think he's the front runner right now. And he is classified as a moderate in terms of being a moderate Democrat. Mainly, I have gotten my information from Councilwoman Gretchen Bangert, who served with him, and Brian is, Senator Williams, served with her. The next is Shalonda Webb. She is on the county council now. The third is Jake Zimmerman, and I don't think the tax man has got a chance. Because he's the assessor, so I mean he is right below the dog catcher in terms of good jobs to have, because he keeps raising people's taxes with their assessment. The last one would be Senator Doug Beck. I would say that Senator Doug Beck, Senator Williams, and Senator Beck are both being termed out. I would say that Senator Beck is probably left of all the previous ones, and I don't know. And I would say Senator Beck is closely aligned with Sam Page, and I think that that's going to be problematic for him as he gets closer into this race, being aligned with Sam Page, because Sam Page is he's just considered to be a pariah at this juncture, and we're happy he's not going to run. When I say we, the Democrats, we're happy he's not going to run. But then we're like, oh God, we got to put up with him for another year and another budget season. So yeah, so we're already stocking up on the Tylenol.
So, well, it sounds like a good plan of action. Mike, I mean, this news came as a big surprise to us. It seems kind of like it came as a surprise to almost everybody. Had there been any rumblings of this before he made this announcement yesterday?
Yeah, there had been rumblings of that, Susie, but it's within the Republican Party, we're kind of like a dysfunctional family. So you'd always hear rumors, and you'd hear this, you'd hear that, and you'd discount these rumors. And we thought that there was a rumor going around that he was going to resign in December. And I was like, I don't think so. And then this kind of came out, and it's like, he's announcing he's not going to run, but still stay on for a year. And I think it did catch a lot of people by surprise, Susie. I really do. So yeah, because, when Mark was, when Mark sent that to me, Mark and I prank one another. So it's one of those early morning, haven't had my coffee yet, and he's trying to prank me. And I'm like, oh no, he is absolutely dead on right. And so yeah, then the rest is history.
So, Mark, you brought up the budget process, having to go through another budget process with Sam Page. Where is that at right now? As far as you guys got were able to get a lot of cuts out of his budget.
Right.
What kind of progress do you think you can make on that with a lame duck council or a county executive?
Well, Billy, we made a lot with him when we thought he was going to be staying in office. And I think we're going to make even more, and I think that's a good point. I think we're going to make even more strides with getting this budget balanced with him being a lame duck. So he proposes a budget, and then we take it and make the actual budget. So what happened was that he wanted, the sun and the stars and the moon, and we're like, we can't afford that. And it's a situation of where we had to look at the charter, see what we have to pay for, and go with that, and make sure that the safety and security of the St. Louis County residents is preserved. And that's exactly what we did. So next year, when we go back to this budget process, I think we're going to have more of a leverage. And I don't know if he's going to give us another budget with the sun and the stars and the moon again. He might well, but again, that's our prerogative. He talked about vetoing it, and I'm like, you can't veto it. Read the charter. And a lot of times I think he hasn't read the charter and is not even curious as to what's in it. So he needs to have, he needs to have a better basis as to what he can do and what he can't do, because this council is slapping him down.
Mike, I think it's realistic to acknowledge that a Republican in that office at this point might be an uphill climb, not impossible, but an uphill climb. But do you get the sense that in St. Louis County, there's an appetite for a moderate Democrat, someone who is more willing to reach across the aisle and work with the Republicans and focus more on just getting, a positive agenda in place, as opposed to kind of fighting partisan ideological battles?
Yeah, exactly, Susie. And I think people are tired of us, fighting all the time. And a moderate Democrat would probably sell, and it's definitely, like you said, it's going to be an uphill battle, because at best we are 60-40 with 60% Democrat, 40% Republican, and that's exactly why that we need to get Dennis's message out. Senator Williams has been labeled as a moderate Democrat, somebody that we can work with. He's also been labeled as a bridge builder for compromise, which was something that we never saw with the Page administration. But my problem is that a lot of people come in with the labels of moderate or something that sounds palatable during the election, and then they come in and then you finally see their true stripes, and it's not pretty. So with Dennis, we know what we have in terms of him being the mayor of Fenton for 12 years, and with his stint on the county council. I'm just concerned about the label coming in saying moderate, and then we get something completely different after after somebody's sworn in. So yeah.
Yep. Mike, we probably need to wrap this up here, but before we let you go, what should folks be looking at coming up for the council? Like what's going to be next on the agenda? I know the budget was the big thing. Are there still things to be ironed out with regarding that?
No, not at all. The budget had to be submitted by the 31st. We're on recess until January.
Okay.
What's going to come up is that I am spearheading the legislation for the homelessness in terms of soliciting on the streets with safety. So that's going to be a big topic. I'm going to be meeting with Reverend Rice and other community leaders about trying to get a resolution, or at least some sort of answers on dealing with homelessness. And earlier you guys were talking about the food drive, and that's that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at in terms of feeding and housing the people that are homeless. So I think that is going to be a major issue that I'm going to be spearheading coming up in January.
Great.
So yeah, so that's something that we're going to be taking a look at, Susie, and then we're going to be working on the budget throughout the rest of the year for next year. So yes.
Mike, really appreciate you joining us this morning and kind of giving us your insight on this stunning news. Have a great rest of your day.
Well, you too. You take care. Thank you very much.
All right. When we come back, we got to talk about this Brown University situation. Because I watched that whole press conference, and I've been watching this case unfold. And I mean, Keystone Cops is probably too nice a way to characterize it all. We're going to take a look at that coming up next.
Making cold your mind to fight your war. Stop it right now. I have had another day.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I like it, but they're going a little overboard with the dancing.
On News Talk STL.
Oh, hey. You wanna do that? Get up.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Tonight's story behind the story. One of the most famous children's programs, Captain Kangaroo.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
This holiday season, help Feed My People fill the shelves. News Talk STL and the STL County GOP are partnering for an annual food drive, November 10th through December 21st. Drop off your non-perishable food donations at all Bartolino's restaurants, all Chris's Pancakes and dining locations, all 3 Michael's Flooring outlets, STL Windows and Doors, or at the News Talk STL studios.
Hey, it's Vic Corselli and Ken Williams. We can make a difference for families in need.
Visit newstalkstl.com for complete drop-off locations.
Hey there, Chris Cooper, Sterling Wealth Management, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year this holiday season. But before Christmas, we've got one special show for you this weekend, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. right here on News Talk STL. Special guest Mark Lovelace of Kubrick's in historic 5th Street, St. Charles. So come on in with us, have fun, and learn a little bit about what makes Kubrick's so special. Right here on News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. or on Sterling Wealth Now social media outlets.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
This app is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
It is awesome.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Here's to you, raise a glass for everyone. Here's to them underneath that burning sun. Do they know it's Christmas time?
Let's get back to all this madcap mayhem with Mike Ferguson in the morning. But don't forget, stick around for Jones and Arps every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m.
The world. This is like right in my wheelhouse.
Hey, Susie, who sings this?
Band-Aid.
Can we keep it that way?
Oh!
Ouch. No, you did very good.
Wow. This brings me back to like junior year of high school. This was very meaningful. This song was such a big hit. Someone in our high school went around and wrote out the lyrics to it on all of the chalkboards.
Wow.
I mean, like we came into school the next day and everyone was like, whoa. I mean, it's a big deal.
Susie, what's a chalkboard? Is that like an iPad?
Yes, young whippersnappers. I'm a little older than you.
No, I did figure because part of the theme of the song is to help feed people, and we've got a food drive that's coming to an end in just a couple days, that this would be a very fitting time to remind everybody, fitting. Come and be part of this, feed the people with us.
Absolutely fitting. No, that's a very good tie-in. But yeah, sorry, that's right in my 16, 17-year-old heart. Boom. Good stuff. Good stuff. What's not good stuff is law enforcement authorities in Providence, Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. I don't know how closely you guys have been following this story. We've been covering it at Red State, of course, and I've covered a couple of the press conferences. So, of course, Saturday afternoon, horrible story. There's a class of students meeting at Brown University on campus. It's like a finals review class, and there's a shooting. Guy comes in, shoots like 11 people. Two of them are students who unfortunately pass away. The others are injured, some seriously, and then gets away. And then they detain a person of interest, and everyone goes with who it is, and it's not that guy at all. And they release that person, and they're basically like, we don't really know. And so like the first couple of press conferences, you had the mayor of Providence, you had the police chief, you had the Rhode Island attorney general, all getting up and saying, well, we're working on it. We're investigating. Oh, we do have some exterior video, surveillance video. That's kind of grainy, but here's a guy with a mask on and a ski cap, and you can kind of see he's a little stocky. We need your help identifying him. And they had press conferences every day, so I guess maybe credit for that. But every day the press conference consisted of, well, we don't really know. We're investigating. We don't think the public is in any danger, though, which was interesting.
Yeah. There is someone that is okay taking human life out there, and you don't know where he's at, but everyone's safe.
Yeah, we want to reassure the community and let them know that they're safe. Okay, but we don't know who the guy is. We need your help identifying him. And then there was this shooting Monday at MIT. A professor from MIT was shot and killed in his home in Brookline, Massachusetts, which is less than an hour away from Brown University.
Right.
And people started saying, well, the academic connection, the geographical connection, is there any connection? No, we don't think that there is. Oh, well, okay. Well, now there's two weird murders out there that we're trying to figure out who the bad guys are and how to find them. Day after day, they hold these press conferences, and they consist of them telling us how hard they're working, but having almost no information to impart.
Right.
Finally, last night, there's a break in the case. They're gonna have a press conference at 4. Well, they push it back. And now there's whispers. Okay, we think that they've identified the suspect. Well, okay, they think that actually it might be connected to the MIT shooting. Oh, okay. Well, now there's an abandoned car outside a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire that they're all circling around. So this is going on for hours and hours and hours. I got the lucky job of actually covering it, so I got to stay and watch the whole press conference, which finally took place at like 8:30 last night our time. They did. They found the guy. They identified him because another guy that had interacted with him, that they kind of put the word out, hey, we want to talk to this person, happens to be a homeless guy who apparently lives in the basement of this building sometimes, former student from the university. And he said, oh yeah, I interacted with this guy, look for this kind of car. So then that put him onto the car. They tracked the car through a license plate reader. That put him onto the rental agreement. That put him on camera. That enabled them to actually identify him. That enabled them to get into his financial records, which led them to the storage facility, which is where he apparently took his own life. Because when they got there, they said he was deceased from apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's a 48-year-old Portuguese national who attended Brown University in 2001 as a physics PhD student. Was only there for a short time, didn't graduate from there. Last known address is in Miami. Flew to Providence sometime in October and has been kind of traveling around the New England area for the past couple of months. Actually went to university in Lisbon with the professor from MIT.
Oh, okay. So there's a nice connection.
Yeah. There's still so many questions about it. The guy's name is Claudio Neves Valente. And there's so many questions still, but I want to focus on something that just stood out to me as I watched this press conference last night. Okay. So by the time they held the press conference, we knew it was pretty clear that they'd found the guy, that he was dead, and that it was connected to both scenes. We had official after official get up and talk for 10 minutes about, I want to thank our partners in the FBI and the university for working diligently throughout all of this. I want to thank this person. I want to thank this person. Our good old-fashioned police work. Over and over, it was like, let's pat ourselves on the back for cracking this case. 6 days later, woo, 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 what, yay us. And then what really ends up happening is they say, well, this guy that came forward with the tip is what blew the case open. It was because of this one guy who had the information that they were able to get all this information. But the focus of the press conference was, yay us.
Yeah, how many times in government or things like that, right? Where it's just like, we're going to pat ourselves on the back for something we had no hand in. And, I just, this whole scene, like thinking how many days this took and then it just, a random person off the street came with the tip. I just think, was an investor Cluso called in to crack the case open here.
it really has that feel for it. And I don't want to not. I mean, I know there were people working hard in law enforcement trying to get to the bottom of this. I do understand that. I think that there's a lot of questions about the camera surveillance, about where cameras were located and what the security measures that were and were not in place at the university. I think if I were a student of or a parent of a student at Brown University, I would be I would have a lot of questions.
Very nervous for sure.
Yeah, about how this was all handled. You know, the guy is dead, so there isn't going to be a prosecution. Had he not been, I would be worried about how, you know, if there was going to be problems with the prosecution because of the way like the AG has presented so much of this. He doesn't strike me. He doesn't inspire confidence. I'm just going to say that. Nor does the police chief. And again, I don't doubt that they want to do their jobs and they wanted to catch this guy, but it just seemed like the focus over and over again was on deflecting responsibility away from law enforcement and Brown University. Very little about the victims. They'd say, "Oh, of course, our hearts go out to the victims and their families. But anyway, this guy did a great job. That guy did a great job." And there's so many questions that, and I know that they're still gathering the information, but there's just so much about this. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it is odd. Like in today's, all the amount of media and cameras everywhere. I mean, yesterday you guys were talking about the fact that our cars are surveilling on us without us knowing it, right? So like how this took so long is perplexing, and to say like we did awesome versus like, man, like this was at least say, hey, this was a challenge for us. We got it, we took care of it, but it was a challenge, and like acknowledge that instead of just patting each other on the back.
I think there were so many ways that they could have handled this better. And for a long time, there's going to be questions, and not least of which is because of who the victims were. Of course, one of the students who was killed was the vice president of the college Republicans. And so there's, obviously been some concern. Was this targeted? From what we know right now, it kind of sounds like it wasn't. So this guy was a physics student there 20 years ago. This would have been the building in which he would have had almost all of his classes.
Right.
So it almost sounds like there was some sort of like maybe mental health issue related to, that he relates to his time as a PhD student. And because the professor that he killed at MIT was a physics so it almost seems like it's related to that. And these kids just happened to be there in the wrong place at the wrong time. And maybe we will find out that there was a reason behind it, that we don't know anything about the motive yet. It just seems more and more like that. But it's been 6 days, so the conspiracy theories they're
rampant,
gone. They're off and
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, and it's odd because it doesn't fit really any of the usual profiles you see in this. I mean, starting with the fact when someone comes out and says, "Oh, he's a Portuguese national." What?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's all kinds of issues related to immigration. They said they don't see there's any anti-Semitic component here. I mean, there's so many questions, and I don't have confidence in these people that they're going to get us
to the bottom
answers.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. You guys ever heard of the prize court?
No.
I hadn't either, but when we come back, we're going to talk to Bill Cruz, who's going to tell us what that is and how that would relate to what's going on with Venezuela and all these ships.
Fun.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
My opinion is it's weird.
On NewsTalkSTL.
For everyone, here's to them underneath that burning sun. Do they know it's Christmas time?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a cooler day throughout much of the region. Temperatures back towards the upper 30s with winds back out of the west-northwest. Mostly sunny. Then into Saturday, a slight warm up into the mid-50s, partly cloudy. Sunday, 42 degrees, a little bit cooler, partly cloudy. Then we're going to see a rising trend as we get a little bit closer towards Christmas, with temperatures getting close to that 70-degree mark, near record highs. Going to be looking dry. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
Hi, it's Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the largest RE/MAX franchise in the region. The summer housing market is hot, and the fall market looks to be as hot. If buying or selling a home is in your future, it is time to act now. Someday is not a day on the calendar, but today is. Call me, Mark Harder, for fast results. RE/MAX Results, 314-852-8933, 314-852-8933, and start packing.
Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on News Talk STL.
We are learning more about Tyler Robinson, the man charged with killing Charlie Kirk. The Washington Post speaking with 20 sources. They said that Tyler bragged he could hit a target 400 yards away and mocking Thomas Crooks, the man who nearly killed Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. And Tyler joked how conservatives will catch a bullet someday. And for Kirk, that day was September 10, when prosecutors say Tyler fatally shot Kirk. And after Kirk was killed, Tyler apparently sent a message to his lover, a transgender. The charges state that Tyler said, "I had enough of Charlie Kirk's hatred. Some hate cannot be negotiated out." So apparently his solution, a bullet. How did our nation get to this point that killing someone to silence them is appropriate? Well, we've had decades of indoctrination, slow, creeping, but still indoctrination, that violence, if done to the right people, is acceptable, especially if you target someone many hate. And now you can be not an assassin, but a hero, when in fact, you are a coward. Nothing's going to bring Charlie back. But if Tyler is convicted, my punishment without delay would be simple: death penalty.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
In all of these years that Wellington Environmental has been my sponsor, I've never mentioned their duct cleaning services. Allergy season is here, and Wellington crews clean air ducts daily in homes and commercial buildings, also cleaning air handling units and diffusers in commercial facilities. Why? Well, because people will see black dirt and mold on the vents, or they are actually suffering from allergies. Don't be fooled by low-cost duct cleaning providers saying they charge only per vent, because once they get on site, the price will skyrocket. Wellington does not do this, never has. Wellington will give you an estimate, and you say Larry Connors, and immediately you get a 20% discount. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 314-644-4930. Make your home and business better, safer with Wellington. Be well with Wellington.
Winter's coming fast. Is your furnace ready? Johnson Heating and Cooling is here to help. Get our complete furnace checkup for just $99. We'll check for gas leaks, inspect electrical connections, and examine your flue to keep your family safe and warm. We service all brands of equipment, and we're fully licensed and insured. From furnace maintenance to air conditioning service, new installations to repairs, call 636-332-4141 or visit johnson-heatingandcooling.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
He lines up 4 deals with countries.
Trump signed trade and mineral deals with Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam.
He's a great leader. 101.9 and 94.1.
Number 1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Fire the beat.
It's Flashback Friday.
Children playing, having fun. It's the season, love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone. Time for parties and celebrations. People dancing all night long. Time for presents.
Larry Connors here. I begin my morning every day with the Mike Ferguson Morning Show while I'm doing my 10-mile run. Catch my program at 6. Now, back to Mike.
That Larry is something, isn't he?
10-mile run every morning.
I admire that.
Listening to you and Mike on the weekdays.
I admire that and appreciate
Probably with a
that.
cigar hanging out of his mouth while he does it.
Yes.
And,
And
and a bottle of Jack.
I was going to say, and a glass of whiskey. Yep, I can see it now. Well, welcome back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. Susie Moore filling in for Mike. Got Billy Crow here with me. Got Jerome with me. And on the line now, we've got Billy Cruz with us. Bill Cruz, also known as Strife, one of our longtime writers, contributors, and former editor at Red State. Bill, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk with you about this. You got an article earlier this week. It's titled Trump Wants to Raise Money and Hegseth Wants Warriors. An ancient institution might please both. I got a history lesson and an education when I read this article. You're talking about an old institution known as the prize court. Let us know what that is and how it might be relevant to us today.
So this is sort of a takeoff on a bill that Congressman Burchett entered in February, and Mike Lee entered in the Senate, I think, yesterday, authorizing the president to issue what's called letters of marque. And that allows privateers, basically private citizens, to go out and, in this case, take cartel ships. But I think that's not necessarily looking at the big picture of it. I think that the seizure of the supertanker Skipper, off of Venezuela last week, offers a better historical example. During the Napoleonic era and before, basically every belligerent country ran what was called prize courts. So when their navy took an enemy ship, usually most of the time commercial, but sometimes a combatant, it would be sent to a prize court, and there it would be condemned. And this part follows very much what happens now with civil forfeiture laws. The owner of the property can make a case that it wasn't taken legally. If they don't show up, the presumption is it was being used illegally, and the capture was legal. And then the government sells it, and they reward the captors with the proceeds. I'm not sure that we want our Navy having an additional revenue stream like that, but it's something to think about. Trump is using the revenue from the tariffs to do some interesting things. There's probably a lot that could be said about having a fund where this money goes into to fund operations, fund salaries or whatever. But it would definitely be a system where you can see you could get the competitive juices flowing. It would be an instant transformation of the Navy from a bureaucratic system to very much an entrepreneurial system. And the question is, how much do you want that in wartime? But I think in peacetime, looking after these tankers, you'd find everyone being a lot more aggressive if there was actually hard cash involved.
Sure.
So, sorry, you mentioned, I got perked up when I heard letters of marque and privateers, because I just think, all right,
cool.
we're back to the good old days, right? And so, obviously, if I understand right, we're talking about this for the Navy, but am I gonna be able to pay for my yacht through Venezuelan oil real shortly here if I get the right crew together?
Well, in my particular article, it goes back to the system of how the proceeds were sold off, and how they were distributed, and that way it actually rewarded an entire fleet, because everybody who was in sight, and I think in this time it'd be basically everybody who was involved, would get rewarded based on the accomplishments. But I guess that is a question that could be kicked about. Up until after the Spanish-American War, no one had a problem with the Navy selling prizes and rewarding the crews. Okay, the Brits rewarded did their last prize sales during World War II. But this time they had decided to pay the money into what was called a welfare fund for the Royal Navy, and it was distributed to help veterans and disabled, et cetera, et cetera. So there's any number of ways you could use this, but the fact is that there would be it could serve as a motivator for people who are maybe dragging their feet about seizing these ships to be a little bit more aggressive.
So what kind of like money are we talking about? Like one of these oil tankers, like what's the dollar value we're looking at?
So let's talk to Skipper, okay? The Skipper, the ship's is worth $100 million. I mean, the oil in the ship they captured is worth $100 million. The ship is worth $80 million. So you're looking at $180 million sold at auction. Of course, the advantage there is the Navy is short hundreds of tankers that it needs to be able to support any type of military operation in the Western Pacific. And we know this, but we're doing nothing about it. This would be an easy way of the government buying a serviceable supertanker and they'll bring it into the U.S. Merchant Marine, to be used as a tanker. So if we go back to the old system that was used at the time of the Spanish-American War. Okay, you take the 180 million, you divide it into 20 shares. Okay, the captain gets 3 shares, so that means the guy running the operation, the captain of the Gerald Ford, would have netted about $13 million. Okay,
That's not nothing.
yeah, and each one of everybody in the entire fleet there, the entire task force, would have come away with over $2,000, which means that Puerto Rico never would have recovered from the fleet coming in. So.
There would be no more rum left on the island for sure.
Right.
No, we're talking about coming in with $2,000 in your pocket that you really didn't earn. No, you're going to do something with it.
That's right.
401k is probably where a 19-year-old is not going to put it.
Well, this is, a fascinating concept. And I think it's one that people, it seems antiquated, so they haven't really been thinking about this. But as you noted, it's been kind of brought up by Congressman Burchett and by Mike Lee. I saw Senator Lee's tweet about that last night. Are we shifting? Is the conversation shifting? Do you think the focus shifting away from the drug boats? We just blew another one up yesterday. But it seems like the furor over that has sort of started to wane. Do you think we're shifting our focus on that, Bill?
I don't know if we're shifting focus or not, but the media can only chase the laser pointer so long before they get tired.
It's so true.
And I think that's part of what's going on. I think that there's a lot of enlightened self-interest. As I note in the story, there's 143 dark fleet super tankers. Okay, imagine that. Super tankers. 143 of them out there do not have insurance and do not fly a legal flag. In other words, it's just like taking your car on the road that has no license, no insurance, no license plates, or putting somebody else's license plates on it. In the case of the Skipper, it was registered in the Marshall Islands, operated by a company in Nigeria, and it was flying a flag that was totally illegal, which is the Guyanan flag. So just the hazard of this, if one of these ships wrecks someplace, and I can't imagine maintenance is the big thing aboard them, if one of these ships wrecks, there's literally no insurance available for cleanup. It's going to be on whoever, is there when the oil washes up.
Wow.
And so I think there's a lot of, to me, there's a lot of enlightened self-interest in declaring open season on this. A website I rely on said there's 340 something total oil tankers out there that are known to be flying false flags. The thing is, only a small portion of those have actually been sanctioned by the Treasury Department. And I don't know why we don't have somebody just get a college intern and just research this and start sanctioning these people left over right so we can seize them wherever they are. But there's no legitimate reason for super tankers to be carrying loads of oil anywhere. And we know what they're doing is they're filling up in Venezuela, they're filling up in Iran, they're going offshore of China, and then pumping the oil onto smaller legal Chinese tankers to bring into port.
Wow.
And so basically they're laundering sanctioned oil. And by letting these people do this, we're basically making a joke of our own system of sanctions. And I don't think we should do that.
Well, Bill, this is a fascinating conversation. I appreciate you joining us this morning to kind of enlighten us on it. For folks that want to find out more about it, read your articles or just follow you on socials, tell them where to find you.
Okay, I'm on Red State. You'll have to check my author tab under on the page there to find me, and that's where I write. I've been there for 20 years, and maybe stay there for 20 more. Who knows?
We hope so. We hope so. Thanks for joining us, Bill. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks very much. Bye.
That was a very riveting discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you something real quick, Mr. Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for some Christmas trivia?
Let's do it.
Alrighty, that's what we're up to next, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger. As Christmas approaches, I want to encourage you to support Missouri businesses this holiday season. When you're out shopping for the perfect gift, please stop by a local store and choose something made right here in the Show Me State. Missouri businesses are the backbone of our communities, and supporting them is a priority for me. To find Missouri-made goods and retailers near you, please visit buymissouri.net. Merry Christmas, and please remember to buy Missouri.
Paid for by the Office of Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger.
Chris Arps here, and after Becky and I leave church on Sunday, we head down the street to Capriotti's to grab a classic meatball sub. And of course, for dessert, I get a giant chocolate chip cookie. I love Capriotti's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney.
Brain fog, fatigue, and stubborn weight aren't random. They're signs your detox pathways aren't keeping up. I'm Dr. Brian Deloney. This week, we talk liver health, methylation, and how to restore detox the right way. Tune in.
Simply Health, Saturdays at noon on NewsTalkSTL. To find out more about Simply Health Integrated Medical, log on to simplyhealthintegrated.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
She looked me deep in the eyes. She touching me so to start. She says there's no turning back. She got me
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
I love Flashback Fridays.
It's a special request from our good friend Franco.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thanks, Franco. Appreciate you, Mike. Good requests, good tunes, good memories. So memories, knowledge, it's Christmas time. We've got a little Christmas trivia quiz here. I've teed up, and the fellas are a little unsure as to whether they're going to know these answers. So I'm just going to throw them out there and see how we do. Just throw a couple of them out there. This first one I think is pretty easy. Which popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch?
I mean, eggnog's the only thing that makes sense.
It is.
Yeah.
And neither one of those sounds appetizing.
No, no. Which is,
Milk-
I think, why most people pour copious amounts of alcohol in
I
it.
think that's true.
Okay, I'm a nogger.
Are you a nog aficionado?
And I've never heard it called milk punch.
Yeah.
I've never heard it called that either, but it's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm not a big eggnog fan, and having someone hand me milk punch is not going to change that.
Right.
I don't know. That one's pretty easy though.
Isn't that like a White Russian technically?
Well, it needs it with the right alcohol
Yeah.
in it. It is. then we're having a different conversation, right? All right, this is one that trips people up all the time. How many ghosts show up in A Christmas Carol?
4?
I was going to say 3.
Everybody says 3 because you got Christmas past,
present,
and future. But there's the ghost of Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
The one who does the intro. And you know
Yep.
why I know that really well? Not only because I actually have watched.
You're the
Scrooge a few
Christmas
times.
expert?
I'm the Christmas expert. No, there's a new Hallmark movie out.
Oh, there it is.
That's a takeoff.
There it is.
That's a takeoff on that. she's visited. It's a woman, and she's visited by 4 ghosts. So that if I didn't already know it from watching Scrooge and A Christmas Carol, I would know it from that.
Is that going to be one of the episodes of your Hallmark podcast with Gabe? Like
You
with
know
some
what?
trivia?
We'll talk about it. We might need to get this going. Yeah, I think there would be something to that. What are the 2 most popular nicknames for Santa Claus?
Saint Nick.
Yeah.
Chris Kringle.
Yeah.
All right.
Very
we
good.
got it.
Look at you guys knowing all your Christmas stuff. This one's easy. Elvis isn't going to have a white Christmas. He'll have a
blue, 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 blue.
Perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, these aren't that tough. I don't know. Okay, this one, I don't know. This you should know this. In Home Alone, where are the McAllisters going on vacation when they leave Kevin behind?
Don't look at me.
Paris.
Very good, Billy.
I was giving you a chance, brother.
I have no chance.
Oh,
You're
it's
being
Home
too
Alone,
generous.
man.
This is a fun one.
Wait, weren't we told last time that might be a Thanksgiving movie?
Yeah,
man,
that's true.
Last
There's
time I
a
was
little-
here, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're right.
I think it's
Yeah.
Christmas. In the classic Christmas movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Grinch was described with 3 words. What are they? If you know the song, you know this too.
Oh, no.
You're a mean one.
Yeah, well, that's he is described that way too. But
Well, I
this
think
is
there was the line. It's like stink, stank, stunk.
That's
Is
it.
Okay, that's it. Okay, all right.
Wow,
Yeah,
look at you.
Billy,
I know,
Billy's
right?
a Christmas expert, and he didn't know it.
The Rain Man of Christmas trivia over here.
Yeah,
Well, what can I
yeah,
say? There's a lot of
yeah.
useless knowledge in my noggin.
No, this one calls on my knowledge because it is my all-time favorite movie. In the movie It's a Wonderful Life,
Mhm.
what happens every time a bell rings?
An angel gets its wings.
Look, Daddy. That's right, Suzu.
I was
Yes,
going to say a bellhop shows up.
No.
I've never seen the movie, so I don't know.
It's like a classic
Jerome.
line when they
Okay,
play clips.
He hasn't seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen It's a Wonderful Life.
I'm going to make it worse. I've never seen the original Dr. Seuss Grinch. I've seen the Jim Carrey live action version.
Yeah, the original one's I think just a half hour.
So
It's
my
actually an
wife
easy
and
watch.
my wife and I on a regular once a month basis, we have culture night where we make sure our daughter doesn't turn out like this. And we watch these classic movies,
making dead eye contact
my.
with me, pointing to me. I got you. I see how it is.
Oh dear.
But fair.
Which Hollywood actor played 6 different roles in the Polar Express?
I mean, Tom Hanks is the only one I could think of
Yeah,
because he's the only one I know in it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I don't think I realized he played 6 different
No,
roles.
I didn't either.
That movie's kind of creepy.
It is
Have you
like
seen it?
We had to do the musical version for grade school, so
You're so young. But yeah, there's something about the animation or I don't know. There's something about it that's creepy.
now let's get something a little harder here. I've got some good ones.
Good,
Trivia
go for
questions.
it,
One of
go
my
for it.
favorite Christmas movies is A Christmas Story.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did the story behind it? What was it? It was originally an article. What magazine was it an article in?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
throwing the hard balls.
This is a good one.
gosh, I know so much about that movie, but I don't think I knew that. Was it?
You're not. It's going to be hard to guess.
Oh,
Sears
Nope.
Christmas magazine.
No, not a Christmas magazine at all.
not like a Good Housekeeping kind
No.
of thing. No.
Playboy.
Oh,
Think about that.
What?
Yes.
How is that possible?
I don't know, but
That
it was.
explains the leg lamp.
That exactly
Fragile.
right. Exactly right.
Fragile.
That's why that's the big piece of that. Right?
So we all remember he wanted the BB gun, but was that all just an advertisement for that lamp?
Pretty much, I think.
Wow.
So, to be fair, I don't look at Playboy. I've never read the articles or the
Right.
pictures. So I'd have never read this article,
the
but that
digital age.
is the.
You're not just saying that because your wife's listening, right?
That's right. But that is the story.
I
That it was
did not
originally
know
a
that.
Playboy.
Such a
Playboy
classic.
article.
That's one of my favorite things about Christmas is the fact that it's just on for 24 hours straight. At any point in your
Yes.
Christmas day, you can just look up at the TV and you can see. Actually, last week when it was really, really cold, I put on 4 layers to take the dog outside, and I was like, I'm like Randy. I can't move my arms.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, approximately 1.3 billion of these are sent each year in the United States during Christmas. What are they?
Snowflakes.
Fruitcakes.
Christmas cards.
Oh.
Send snowflakes.
Colleges send those out.
Yeah.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL, JC's Sunday Showgram.